This is Radio 4. We present the first in Victor Pemberton's trilogy, Our Family.
The trains don't stop here anymore. A love story for radio by Victor Pemberton. With Nerys Hughes, Nigel Anthony, Wendy Richard and Sheila Grant. The trains don't stop here anymore.
My honey, honeysuckle, I am the bee.
Take cover! Take cover! Take cover! Take cover!
Boy! Stop that noise! Tell me what's going on!
You better take cover, Mrs. Edgington. It's an air raid warning.
An air raid warning? We've only just got to bed.
If I was you, I'd get to the shelter at the tube station right away. There's a Zeppelin on the way over.
I don't care about the Zeppelin. I am not leaving my bed in the middle of the night for anyone, do you hear? Operating man.
That's it. That's the signal now. Take cover. Take cover.
Margaret, please!
Oh, dear Lord, where will it all end? Oh, God, I learned to bosh.
But bosh are only people, Mother, like you and me.
Oh, you stupid girl. Sometimes you talk such utter nonsense, just like your father.
Mother, why doesn't Father ever come down to the shelter with us?
How many times do I have to tell you, Nicky? Your father stays at home because... Well, because he's not scared of bombs.
But neither am I. So why can't I stay behind with him?
Mind the games, please!
Oh, no. Not again. Why is it that whenever the lower classes are faced with a crisis, they always have to sing?
Oh, it'll be so wonderful when the war's over and the family can all be together again. Ever since they took Tom off to the front, I've been so scared of what might happen to him.
I've told you before, young lady. I do not want your brother's name mentioned in my presence.
Mother, that's a terrible thing to say. Tom could be killed at any moment.
Whatever happens to Tom Edgington will be through his own weakness. His father and I gave him every chance in the world. It's not our fault if he decided to go his own way.
Tom joined the army because he wanted to fight for his country.
He did it so that he could get away from home. Away from me, his own mother. He could have had everything. But now look at him, a common foot soldier.
Tom had to do something for himself, Mother. You should be proud of him. Tom loves you, Mother. I know he does.
All clear! All clear!
For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful. Amen.
Amen. Please, Father, can I have some gravy over my Yorkshire pudding, please?
You'll wait your turn, young man. Ladies first.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, Father, I'm not very hungry today. I'll just have some meat, no vegetables.
But what's the matter with you, child? Are you ill or something?
She's very restless these days, William. I noticed it in church this morning.
I'm not ill, Father. I just don't want to put on too much weight, that's all.
Too much weight? A girl of your age?
You're forgetting I'll be 18 on the 8th of July.
More like 118. Ow!
That's enough, you two.
Letty, have you been seeing that Webster boy again?
Who, Mother?
Don't play the innocent with me, miss. Don't think I didn't notice he was in church this morning.
I'm sorry, Mother. I don't know what you're talking about. No potatoes, thank you, Father.
Give her potatoes, cabbage and Yorkshire pudding.
Yes, but if she's not hungry, Beatrice...
Allow me to know what is best for my own daughter, if you please, William. Take the plate, Betty.
But, Mother, I don't want any.
Do as I say, please. In future, you're not to see that Webster boy again. Now, do I make myself perfectly clear, young lady?
Why, Mother? What's wrong with him?
What's wrong? Are you aware that he comes from a family who made their money in the rag and bone trade in the East End of London?
What difference does that make? Ronnie's just a nice boy, that's all.
I don't want to hear any more about him, thank you.
Don't worry, Mother. You won't. Ronnie took the King's shilling yesterday.
What do you mean? He signed on for the army?
Yes, Father.
But that boy can't be more than 16 years old.
Like all the rest of them, he lied about his age.
Yes, you know, the other day I was passing the recruiting office at the church hall. There was a long line of them, queued up in the rain outside. Boys.
Hello? Anyone at home?
Tom, in here, Tom.
Tom, in here.
Sit down. I will not have my table disturbed in the middle of the meal.
Hello, everyone. Sorry to barge in like this.
Tom, oh, Tom, I never thought I'd see you again. I thought you were dead. Let me look at you.
You've grown a moustache.
You're so thin, Tom. Just look at you.
You're growing up fast, Letty. You're at least 2 inches taller than when I last saw you.
Tom, my dear boy.
Hello, Father. It's good to see you again, sir. I see you have a new maid.
Her name's Rosie. She has false teeth.
She thought I was a burglar.
But why didn't you write, my boy? It's been so long.
Yes, well, I'm sorry about that, sir, but you see, well, where I've just come from, there wasn't really much time to write letters.
How many of the Bosch did you kill, Tom? I bet it was thousands.
Not quite as many as that, Nick.
Well, how long are you home for, son?
Just 7 days, sir.
7 days? But you've been away for months.
We leave for France again on Saturday night. Things seem to be hotting up out there. Of course, I could stay on at the barracks if it's not convenient.
Stay at the barracks? Don't be absurd, my boy. This is your home. You're welcome to stay for as long as you like. Isn't that so, my dear? Beatrice?
I'll get Rosie to prepare your room.
Thank you, Mother. It's good to be home again.
Good. Then may I take it you will be discarding that uniform before joining us at the dinner table?
No, Tom. The last time you took me out on this lake, I was still at school. Nicky was with us.
Yeah, that's right. I seem to remember splashing you both with the oars or something.
You certainly did. I had to go home and change my dress. It was so wet. Mother was furious.
What a terrible brother I've been.
No, Tom. Don't ever say that. In fact, you're the best brother anyone could ever have. If anything should ever happen to you, I wouldn't want to go on living.
Letty Edgington, don't ever let me hear you say such stupid things like that. Look, when the war's over, we'll both be going our own separate ways because that's the way life is. I've got a lot of things I want to do, people to meet, places to go to. But you, Letty, well, you're different. You're someone with so much capacity for love. You have so much to give. Believe me, one of these days you're going to find a nice young bloke who'll take care of you.
Me, get married?
Don't you want to get married and have kids of your own?
Of course I do. But do you really think Mother will ever allow that to happen? She'll never let me go, Tom. You see, she's working out all her frustrations on me because she knows Father doesn't love her anymore.
Do they still quarrel with each other?
Night after night I lay awake listening to the two of them fighting in their room. It's hard to believe that they ever loved each other.
Oh, husbands and wives quarrel, Letty. It's part of married life.
Father has a mistress. Did you know?
Is what?
Mother thinks I don't know, but I do. I've known for a long time. Ever since Father first refused to come down to the shelter with us during the air raids.
Do you know who the woman is?
Oh, yes. It's Amy Lyle, in the pawnbrokers at the end of our street. She was divorced about a year ago.
Amy Lyle? But she must be all of 20 years younger than Father.
I'm sure Father has his own reasons.
Oh, God, Letty. If only I'd known you were going through all this.
Oh, it's not myself I care about. It's Mother. She can't help being what she is. Sometimes I feel so sorry for her.
Sorry? For a woman who treats her children the way she does? You know, I still haven't forgotten the time she slapped you across the face for nothing at all.
Oh, she's found more subtle ways of hurting me these days. Like sending me to work in the paint factory.
You mean that was her idea?
It all happened because I mentioned that the great ambition in my life was to become a shorthand typist. But Mother wouldn't hear of it. She seems to resent the idea of me being able to use my own mind. Oh, Tom. What am I going to do with my life?
I'll tell you what you're going to do, Letty. For once in your life, you're going to make a decision of your own.
A shorthand typist? It's out of the question. I've already made my position perfectly clear to your sister. Letty is not suited to a clerical post.
But, Mother, how can you say that when you haven't even given her the chance to prove herself?
Young man, I decide what is right for my children, not you.
Oh, Mother, be reasonable. Look, Letty is a fine, intelligent girl. Give her the chance and she'll make you proud of her. Let her go to that typing school.
I'm sorry, but my mind is made up. At the end of next week, Letty will be leaving her present position. I've arranged for her to start work at the Woolwich Arsenal.
You what?
Yes. I thought that idea might appeal to you. It will give your sister the opportunity to mix with some of those fascinating people from the lower classes that you both admire so much.
No, Mother, I won't let you do it.
Stand out of my way, sir.
You cannot put that girl to work in a munitions factory. I won't let you. There have been too many accidents. People have been killed there.
May I remind you that this war is not of my choice either. We must all be prepared to make sacrifices. Isn't that what you've always said, Thomas? Now, for the last time, will you let me pass?
Mother, let me tell you something. You were right. I did leave this house to get away from you. And you know why? Because I despise what you are. And I despise everything that you've ever done to this family.
No, so please don't say any more.
You know,
please.
Mother, the world is full
you.
of little people like you. Little in mind and little in heart. One day you're going to need your children around you. But when that time comes, it'll be too late.
Oh, no, so... I'm going up to my room now. When I come down again, I shall not expect to find you in this house. Oh, no.
It's all right, Letty, love. There's nothing to worry about. It's all over now.
But I won't let her send you away, Tom. I won't.
I promise you, Letty, she's the one that's going to regret all this, not you. Don't you realise what she's done? She's tried to make you weak. But you're going to be strong, Letty. Strong.
Don't go, Tom. Please don't leave me.
Letty, one of these days the war's going to be over. It won't be long now. A few months, maybe. And when that happens, the first thing I'm going to do is come back and take you away from all this.
Oh, Tom, will you? Will you really do it?
Oh, look at you, you silly thing. There's great big tears rolling down your cheeks. Oh, come on now, Letty. Don't let me go away remembering you like this. Look, try and think of the times when we were kids together. The good times, Letty, eh? Not the bad ones. What is it you've always said to me? Every cloud
has a silver lining.
Every cloud has a silver lining. Yes. That's my little sister. And we are still going to be friends, aren't we?
What are you talking about? Of course we are.
Yes, of course we are. Nobody can ever take that from us, Letty. Nobody.
When this ruddy war is over, oh, how happy I shall be. When this ruddy war is over, and we come back from Germany.
Well, I don't care what you say, Letty. A munitions factory is no place for a girl like you to be working in. You're a square peg in a round hole. Anyone can see that.
Don't be so silly, Vi. We've all got to do our bit to end the war, haven't we? Though I must say, I often dread what'll happen to all these bullets and shells we're making.
We're at war, and if we don't kill the Bosch first, it's our boys that'll suffer.
Yes, I know, but it still seems so wrong to have to kill.
See what I mean? You just don't belong in a place like this. I mean, just look around you. There must be hundreds of girls slaving their guts out in this dump, but they're none of them like you, Letty. We're all used to manual work. You're not.
You're talking absolute nonsense, Vi. I'm as capable of doing a hard day's work as anyone here.
That's not what I'm saying, and you know it. You know as well as I do, the only reason you're in here is because that old cow of a mother wants to get her own back on you. She ought to be chained to a cart horse, that one.
Vi, I wish you wouldn't talk about my mother like that. You know I don't like it.
I don't care. That woman's just not letting you get enough out of life. I mean, just look at you. You don't even wear makeup.
Don't like makeup.
It's all right for you. You don't need no makeup with skin like you've got. But I still say you should have a nice young man of your own, Letty. You don't get out to meet people.
When my brother Tom comes back from the war, I'll meet all the people I want.
A brother is not a boyfriend, Letty. And anyway, for all you know, he might be laying dead at the bottom of some trench by now.
Don't you dare say such things to me, Vi Hobbs. Do you hear? Don't you dare!
Oh, I'm sorry, Letty. I didn't mean... I'm sorry. Look, I was wondering, how would you like to come and meet my brother sometime?
Your brother?
Yeah, his name's Ollie. That's short for Oliver. He's in the army, same regiment as your Tom. They sent him back from France with a bad wound on one of his legs. Ollie don't talk much, but you'd like him.
Where is he now?
He's in a servicemen's hospital over in Richmond. Oh, why don't you come there with me next Sunday?
No, I don't think so, Vi. I mean, I don't even know your brother.
That's all the more reason why you should come. Ought to be a tonic for him to see a pretty face for a change. He's fed up with the sight of my physic, I can tell you. Oh, come on now, mate. It'll do him a lot of good, you know. In fact, it'll do you both a lot of good. Oliver, wake up. Oliver, wake up, will you? Private Hobbs?
Sure. What is it? What's up? Oh, it's you, Vi.
I must say I'm very flattered. Every time I come to visit you, you're always fast asleep. I hope you don't snore like that when you find yourself a wife.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vi. I must have just dropped off for a few seconds.
Ollie, I've brought you a visitor. This is a friend of mine who works with me in the factory. Letty, I'd like you to meet my brother Oliver. Ollie, this is Letty Edgington.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Letty.
I'm pleased to meet you too, Oliver. I'm sorry to hear you've had all this trouble.
Oh, it's not all that bad, really. Anyway, I'm feeling a lot better than I was.
Mum sent you some biscuits. They're your favourite.
I don't like digestives.
Why not? I do.
Then what'd you bring 'em me for?
That's just typical of you, Oliver Hobbs. Always so ungrateful. You'd never think there was a food shortage the way you carry on. God, I'm so thirsty I could hardly spit 2 hairs. Do they still have that tea urn outside?
Yeah, as far as I know.
What about you, Letty? Would you like a cup?
Let me go, Vi.
Not on your Nelly. You don't think I want to stay here with this one, do you? Not in the mood he's in. Keep an eye on him, Letty. If he gives you any treat, give him a faulty one. I won't be a jiff. Vi!
I wouldn't bother if I was you, Letty. What she really means is she's off to chat up one of the doctors she fancies. Yeah. Look, why don't you sit on the edge of the bed? I'm afraid they don't provide any chairs for visitors in this place.
Oh, no. It's quite all right, thanks. I don't mind standing.
So it was very good Go ahead, Letty, you first.
Oh, well, I was only going to ask if your leg hurts very much.
Oh, no, not really. I've forgotten all about it. Well, almost.
How did it happen?
Oh, come on now, a nice girl like you don't want to hear about things like that.
Oh, but I do, honest I do. I'm not squeamish, I promise you.
Well, it was, in this battle up front. We was fighting round this river, see, river called the Somme. And, my platoon, well, we sort of went on the attack, and, Fritz threw everything he got at us, and I got hit by a shell.
Shell?
Oh, I didn't know much about it. It was all over so quick, you see. It wasn't until I woke up and found this great big gash in my leg that No, I didn't know much about it. I suppose you could say that I was one of the lucky ones.
Lucky?
Well, I survived, didn't I? Which is more than I can say for the rest of me mates who was with me. The same shell killed the old bleeding lot of them.
I'm so sorry, Oliver. I shouldn't have made you talk about it.
Oh, that's all right, Letty. You don't have to apologise to me. You know, I don't think I've ever met anyone called Letty before.
Oh, It's not my real name. I was christened Elizabeth, but my friends at school used to call me Betty, and that sort of became, well, Letty.
Well, I'll tell you this, Letty, you're a real good looker.
Oh, get away with you.
Well, it's true, I tell you.
Handsome man like you must have lots of girlfriends.
None of them have patch on you, I mean it. Letty, will you come and visit me again next Sunday? Will you? You're not going to turn me down, are you?
I'm sorry, Oliver. I have to.
Why? Don't you like me?
Oh, don't be silly. It's not that. It's just... Well, we hardly know each other, do we?
Well, what difference does that make? Oh, I get it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Letty. I shouldn't have asked.
What do you mean?
Well, it's a nerve, me expecting someone like you to come and visit me. I mean, we come from different worlds, don't we?
As long as people are nice to each other, what does it matter who they are or where they come from? Really, it makes me so angry the way people keep going on about...
You've got blue eyes.
Pardon?
Bright blue. I haven't seen that colour since I went over to France. They're the same colour as the seawater. Yeah, on a fine day, of course. How tall are you, Letty?
How tall? What? I don't know. About 5 feet 5 inches, I think.
I'm nearly 6 foot. Or at least I am when I'm standing on 2 good feet.
I think I'd better go and see if I can find Vi. Visiting time's nearly over. Oliver! Oliver, what is it? Is it your leg? Hold on, Oliver. I'll get the nurse.
No, don't do that. I'll be all right in a minute. Yeah. Oh. No, it's getting better. It's getting better a little bit each day. It won't be long. Won't be long now. Oh, what am I talking about? Of course I'm not getting better. I'm never going to get better.
No.
It's true, I tell you. I'm going to be stuck inside this bloody hospital for the rest of my life.
That's not true. And you know it. If you want to get better, then you'll get better. But you mustn't give up trying. You must make the effort.
Make the effort? What do you expect me to do, laying flat on my back day in, day out in this bed? Oh, I'm sorry. I had no right to talk to you like that.
I'll do anything I can to help you, Oliver. Anything at all.
You mean it? You really mean it?
Of course.
Well, then come back and see me again next Sunday. Will you, Letty? Please?
Letty? Letty, are you awake? Of course I'm awake. What do you want, Nick?
I get so scared when Mother and Father carry on like that. Why do they have to fight all the time?
Oh, we mustn't pay too much attention to it, Nick. They'll have forgotten everything by the morning.
They might, but I won't.
Everyone has a quarrel at some time in life, Nick. It's just that, well, some people don't know how or when to stop.
What's happened? Shh! It's Father. He's coming upstairs.
Letty, are you... Nicky, what are you doing in here? Go back to your own room at once, please.
Yes, Father.
And Nicky...
Yes, Father?
Look, I want you to be a good boy. Do you understand?
Yes, Father.
I don't mean only for now, Nicky. I mean for always. Will you promise?
Yes, sir. I promise.
Good night, son.
Good night, Father.
Father, what is it? What's happened?
Letty, you're a young woman now. I think you're old enough to understand what I have to say. Look, your mother and I can't live with each other anymore, Letty. We've decided to go our own separate ways. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you, Letty?
Of course I understand. But what do you expect me to say, Father? If two people don't love each other anymore...
Oh, believe me, Letty, it's not that your mother and I don't love each other anymore. But when two people have lived together for as long as we have, well... marriage begins to need an awful lot of hard work. One of these days you'll know what I mean by that.
Are you going to live with With that woman friend of yours?
Don't resent me, Letty. I promise you, if I could have avoided what had happened...
I don't resent you, Father. I couldn't. But if only you could realise what it's been like for us this last year or so. It isn't easy to watch your own mother and father tear each other apart.
Oh, Letty. Take care of your mother. She's going to need you. But if you're ever in trouble, I want you to promise you'll come and see me. Now, do you understand that, Letty?
I can't cry for you, Father. I can't cry for you or Mother. Only wish I could.
You know, Letty, when you were a little girl, I used to think you were growing up far too shy and weak to cope with the problems we all have to face up to. But I was wrong. Goodbye, Letty.
Father!
She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. Is it true, Letty?
Is what true?
Well, these daisy petals say you love me.
Oh, stop being so silly, Oliver. You know I do.
Yes. You do, don't you? I can't understand it.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, how long have we known each other now?
Must be nearly 6 months now.
6 months. Do you know something? Every Sunday afternoon I can't wait to see your face peering through those gates at the end of the ward. You're the first visitor in every time.
Of course I am. After all, we only get an hour together.
Yeah, but what I mean is I never knew I'd ever look forward to seeing anyone so much. I never knew that, well, I'd actually get to love someone.
Well, if you feel like that, Oliver Hobbs, isn't it about time you did something about it?
Did something about it?
You could start by making an honest woman out of me.
Making it... Letty, you don't... Get married, you and me?
Well, thank you very much. I must say you make it sound very romantic.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. Oh, Letty, don't make fun of me.
Make fun of you? Why should I do that?
Well, don't you see? It couldn't work, not in a million years. I mean, just look at me. Can you really imagine yourself spending the rest of your life with a cripple?
Say that to me once more, Oliver Hobbs, and I swear I'll push you and your wheelchair straight into that lake over there. Oh, Ollie, the wound in your leg is healing. You'll be out of this hospital in no time.
But what are we going to live on? I've never been able to get a job till I can walk again.
I've got a job, haven't I? I know it's not much, but it could keep us going until you're fit and well again.
I'm not having no wife of mine support me.
Oh, well, of course, if you don't want to marry me, I'm not going to force you.
Oh, don't be angry with me, Letty. I don't like it when you're angry. It makes me feel, well, guilty.
Look, Ollie, if you don't want to accept the responsibility of a wife and family, then there's nothing I can do about it, is there?
No, Letty, you've got it all wrong. Of course I'd like to marry you. Why, I'd be the luckiest man alive to have a girl like you at my side. But don't you realise what you'd be letting yourself in for? Someone like me wouldn't stand a chance of getting work.
Of course you wouldn't if you didn't try.
Well, it might be years before I can throw away these crutches. I never got this far if it hadn't been for you.
What you've done through your own willpower. And that's the way it's got to be, Ollie. Believe me, Ollie, when you walk out of this hospital, it'll be on your own 2 feet. Oh, there's a cold nip in the air. I hate autumn. It smells of bonfires and the end of summer.
Come back here, Letty.
What for? What have you got there?
Well, it's a buttercup. They say if you hold a buttercup under someone's chin, you can tell if they like butter.
Well, you won't find out much from me. I haven't had so much as a taste of butter since before the war.
Now, come on. Lean back your head.
Oh, Ollie, don't be silly.
There you are. What did I tell you? Just look at that yellow reflection. Pass me my crutches, Letty. I want to stand up.
No, Ollie, it's too soon. You know what the doctor said.
The hell with the doctor. You're not pushing me back into that hospital again in no wheelchair.
Stop being so obstinate. No! Ollie, no! Ollie, are you all right? Are you hurt?
Come on, Letty, give us a kiss.
No, Ollie, somebody might see you.
Shall I tell you something? You've got a mind of your own, Letty Edgington. I can see it's going to cost me a fortune to keep you in butter.
Marry my daughter? Young man, have you taken leave of your senses?
I love Letty, Mrs. Edgington. She loves me. So why shouldn't we spend the rest of our life together if we both feel the same way? I promise you I'd take good care of her.
Marriage needs a great deal more than love, Mr. Hobbs. That I can assure you. Tell me, how would you intend to support my daughter?
As soon as he's feeling better, Ollie's hoping to get his old job back on the Underground.
The Underground? Do you mean the tube trains, by any chance?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to be, a ticket collector.
Ticket collector?
It's a good, sound job, Mother. You have to know a lot about fares and routes and things. Isn't that so, Ollie?
No, I'd better go, Letty.
No, Ollie, don't let her bully you. That's just what she wants.
We're wasting our time, Letty. You can go on talking till the cows come home, but you'll never get rid of people's prejudices. You know, Mrs. Edgington, it's a funny thing. My old ma feels exactly the same as you about all this.
Thank God we share something in common. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other things to attend to.
Mother, it may interest you to know that whether you give your permission or not, Oliver and I intend to go ahead and get married.
Young lady, are you aware that you are still underage to be married without your parents' consent?
If I don't get that consent, I promise you that as soon as I reach the age of 21, I shall leave you and never talk to you again as long as I live.
Mother?
Out of here, Nicky, out.
But, Mother, a boy brought this to the door. He says it's urgent.
Get out!
It's a telegram, Mother.
Give it to me, Nick. Now, be a good boy and wait for us in the kitchen.
Yes, Letty.
The Secretary of State for War regrets to inform you that it's Tom. He's been killed in action.
Don't leave me, Letty. You can't leave me, not now. I need you.
Mother.
When you wore a tulip, a sweet yellow tulip, and I wore a big red rose. When you caressed me, 'twas the heaven bless me, what a blessing no one knows. You made life cheery when you called me dearie, 'twas now where the blue grass grows. Your lips were sweeter than julep when you wore that tulip, and I wore a big red rose.
That was wonderful, really wonderful. You never told me you could sing like that, Vi.
Well, I only ever get the chance to sing on high days and holidays. After all, my brother don't get married every day of the week, do he?
With a voice like that, thank God I'm only getting married once.
Oh, you shut up, Oliver Hobbs. You can never find anything nice to say about anyone.
Take no notice of him. Vi doesn't mean
Oh,
it.
yes, he does. They all do. Gets on me nerves the way everyone keeps thinking me so funny. I've got feelings too, you know.
Of course you have.
Anyway, he can thank his lucky stars he's found himself a nice girl like you. I can tell you, I wouldn't want to put up with his clever talk for the rest of me life.
I don't know, Vi. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've done too bad for myself.
Come on, Vi, what you moping about in the corner for? Here, come and have a knees up with me.
A knees up? I can't do no knees up. Not in this dress, it's too tight.
I know it is. What do you think I asked you for?
Oh, Brooks, you're becoming bold in your old age. Oh, my God.
Come on, boy.
Here, Letty. Come outside in the passage, I want to talk to you.
Why, Ollie? What do you want?
I want a minute alone with my own wife, if you don't mind.
I must say, it is hot in there.
You are my honey, honeysuckle. Happy, Mrs. Hobbs?
What do you think, Mr. Hobbs? Mustn't be long, Ollie. It isn't sociable.
Oh, I'm sorry it weren't no fancy wedding, Letty. I promise I'll make it up to you one day.
What are you talking about? It was a lovely wedding.
No, it wasn't. There's no organ playing or church bells. No bridesmaids or wedding cake. Just look at that bit of brass on your finger. It ain't worth a light.
Ollie, you could put a curtain ring on my finger. It'd mean just as much. Believe me, I've nothing to regret about today. Nothing. Except...
Ah, so there is something.
No, I was just thinking, well... I wish your mother and father could have been at the church this morning. It would have made so much difference.
Nah, not really. It's no good, Letty. You can't put feelings where there aren't none. Anyway, they sent us a card. That's more than I expected.
Must say I feel the same way about my own mother. Oh, I suppose it's too much against her pride to show up at her own daughter's wedding, but somehow I kept hoping that she might be there.
She was there.
What?
And your mother was there, Letty. I saw the old girl myself. She was hiding at the back of the church just as you arrived.
Ollie, is this true?
Well, you can ask Bill Brooks. He saw her too. She's crying her eyeballs out when we left the church together. Then she ran off before I could do anything about it.
Oh, God. She was there. She was really there.
Oi, come on now, you two lovebirds. Too early for the hanky-panky just yet, you know. Come on, back inside. Come on. Time to raise your glasses to the happy couple. Now, everybody topped up?
No, ain't about.
All right, ready?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll give you the toast. To two of the nicest people you could ever wish to know.
Yes.
Things ain't been too easy for them, we know. And it's no use pretending it's going to get much better for a time yet. But what we can do for them here tonight is to assure them that they have friends they can really rely on. And while they've got friends, they ain't never going to need for nothing. And so, ladies and gents, boys and girls, I'll give you the toast. To the bride and groom, God bless them. To Letty and Oliver Hobbs.
Letty and Oliver. Cheers.
Say something?
Oh, no, Bill, I can't. I don't know how to make a speech. Honest, I don't. Come on. Go on, Letty, you know how to speak. You say something. Go on.
No, Ollie, I can't. It's the man supposed to make the speech, not mine.
No, it's no use, Letty. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Silence, please. Silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, Oliver and I... Well, we just wanted to thank you all for coming to our wedding today. August the 4th, 1918 is a day I'll remember for the rest of my life. It's funny to think that it's exactly 4 years to the day since the war started. But, like all of you, Ollie and I have got a lot of things we want to do in our future years. And when the war ends... I hope Mr. Lloyd George will see to it that this country becomes a fit place for our boys to live in again. Because that's what they fought for, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say is that when we're living in the future, I hope none of us will ever be too busy to remember the past.
Letty.
That's lovely.
Letty, there's someone here to see you.
Who is it?
Look for yourself.
It's me, Letty.
Mother!
Well, I'm sorry if I'm butting in, Letty.
Oh, you're not butting in. Is she, Ollie?
No, of course not. You're very welcome, Mrs. Edgington.
Well, all I wanted to say was... If you and Oliver don't have anywhere to stay until you have a place of your own, you're welcome to have your old room back. Well, for as long as you like.
Thanks all the same, Mother, but Bill and Tilly here have been putting me up for the past few months. Ollie and I are going to stay on with them for a bit.
Oh, well, that's all right, then. I just thought I'd make sure. Well, I'll be on my way, then. God bless you, Letty. And you too, Oliver.
Don't go, Mum. Why don't you stay on for a bit?
No, I don't think I will.
Letty would like it, so would I.
Come on now, you lot. Somebody get Mrs. Edgington a glass of stout. Come on, what's that?
Yeah, come and meet everyone, Mum. That's my sister, Violet, over there. Then there's Perce and Reen. And this is Bill and Tilly Brooks.
How do you do?
Bill's an old pal of mine. We was at school together.
Ballstool, more like. Come on now, everybody. Get yourselves stoked up for a sing-song. Any volunteers for a tinkle on the old Joanna?
Over here, Bill. My mother can play the piano.
Oh, no, I couldn't. Yes. I haven't got my music sheets with me.
Come on now, Mrs. Edgington. Fill yourself up with a glass of Mother's Ruin and you'll be well away.
Well, there is one song I can play without my music sheets. But I warn you all, I am a little rusty.
Pray silence for our star turn of the evening, Ma Edgington.
Just a song at twilight, when the lights are low, and the flickering shadows softly come and go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight comes love's song, comes love's own sweet song.
Of course, it's not Buckingham Palace, mind you. But with a coat of distemper here and there, I'd say you could turn this into a really nice little room. Previous tenant thought the world of this place, never left it, till they carried her out in her box. Well, Mr. Hobbs, what do you think?
Oh, I'm not sure, Mr. Cotton. Smells a bit, huh?
Yeah, well, that's the damp, you see. Hasn't been lived in since the old lady died. Still, a nice coal fire in the evenings will soon put that right. What about the little wife? What do you think, Mrs. Hobbs?
How often do the trains go by, Mr. Cotton?
Oh, no more than a couple each day at the most. Well, I'd be surprised if... Yeah, well, there used to be an old railway station on the line at the back of this house, but it hasn't been used since the war broke out. Something to do with economy cuts, I heard. But I promise you, Mrs. Hobbs, you won't have no trouble with no noise. Oh, no, not here. See, the trains don't stop here anymore.
Oh, I don't worry about the noise.
You don't?
No, not at all. I like the sound of trains. They give me a feeling of protection.
Really now? Well, that's nice.
How much do you want for the room, Mr. Cotton?
Well, now, don't let it be said that Reg Cotton's out to make a quick profit on any young married couple who are trying to set up home for the first time.
How much, Mr. Cotton?
Shall we say, 3 and 6 a week? You do your own decorating, of course.
3 and 6?
It's a bargain for the area, I'm telling you. I mean, just look at the space you've got. Built-in cupboards over there, chest of drawers, dresser, beautiful double brass bedstead, and just look at this lovely little range oven for the... Yeah, well, just needs a bolt or two on the oven door.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Letty?
It's up to you, Ollie. You make the decisions, not me.
Tell you what, why don't I leave you two to have a look around on your own for a couple of minutes? Give you a chance to talk things over in private.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Cotton. I'd appreciate that.
I'm an honest man, Mr. Hobbs. I never done anybody out of nothing in my whole life. That's the door. Oh, don't worry. Just needs a bit of oil on the hinges, that's all. Yeah, well,
Well, Letty, what are we going to do?
Come over to the window, dear. It's a lovely view from here. Oh, there are 2 steps. Be careful.
You call this a lovely view? For 3 and 6 a week, it's highway bloody robbery. Oh, just look at it out there. We're practically on top of the railway line.
Yes, but just think of all those trains that go by and all the places they go to up and down the country.
Places you and me will never get the chance to see in our old life.
Stop being so pessimistic, Ollie. It costs nothing to dream, does it?
This room's a dump, Letty.
We can clean it up, can't we? By the time I've finished with this place, it'll be fit for the king himself.
Now, where are we going to get 3 and 6 from to pay the rent each week?
If necessary. I can get a little job to do in the evening.
You're not taking on any more jobs, I tell you. As it is, you're working from 7 in the morning till 6 at night in that munitions factory.
Look, all I was trying to say was that when the war's over, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't open up that old railway station again. If they did, I bet you'd get a job there as easy as pie. Oh, just imagine it, Ollie. Going to work in your own backyard.
My own backyard? Then you mean you want us to take on this room?
I want a home for you and me, Ollie. A home, Ollie. Something both you and me have never really had. I want you and me to start building our future together. And if it has to be in a damp barn of a place like this, then it's all right with me.
I tell you, it's not right, Letty. You can't keep this up for much longer. Not 2 jobs in one day, you'll crack up.
Oh, don't talk stupid, Vi. I'm not made of cardboard, you know.
Yes. Or scrubbing an entire school all on your own every evening. It turns me up just to watch you.
I like being here after school hours. It gives me a chance to think.
Well, I just hope you know what you're doing, that's all.
Now, what do you mean by that, Vi?
Look, Letty, I know you're trying to protect Oliver, but you've got to be careful.
Careful?
Yeah, well, he's a complicated fella, he always has been. Yes, and obstinate, proud and obstinate, just like me dad and all me brothers. Look, all I'm saying is that once Oliver starts to feel that he's not a man anymore, he'll turn against you.
I know what you mean, Vi, but you're wrong. Once that old railway station at the back of us opens up again, things are going to be different for Ollie and me. He'll have a job of his own and a wife and family to take care of.
Family? You don't mean you're going to have kids?
Well, of course we are eventually. Don't you want to have children when you get married?
You must be joking. I hate the little brats. They even give me a turn coming into this school hall. Oh, no, I'll never have no kids of me own.
I'll believe that when you find yourself a husband.
Yes, well, as a matter of fact, I wanted to talk to you about that, Letty. I was wondering whether I could bring a gentleman friend of mine. Well, I'd like you and Ollie to meet him.
Vi, you've got a new boyfriend?
Oh, yes, and he's ever so nice, Letty. I know you'll like him. His name's Frank O'Malley, and he's an Irishman.
Irish?
Well, sort of. He's a Scouse, you know, from Liverpool.
Oh, I see. Well, I tell you what. Why don't you bring him round to tea on Sunday? I can't promise much in the way of food, but I could get some winkles off the fishman when he calls.
Oh, that would be marvellous, Letty. Well, the only thing is, it's not quite as easy as that, you see. The fact is, I know you'd like him, but it's Oliver I'm worried about.
Don't be silly, Vi. If you like him, why shouldn't we?
You see, Frank doesn't approve of war.
Don't be ridiculous, Vi. Do you know anyone who does?
No, that's not quite what I mean. You see, Frank's done time in prison. He's a pacifist, a conscientious objector.
Anyway, the way I look at it is this. If only Asquith had played his cards right, there'd have been no need for this war. I mean, I tell you, the whole thing's nothing but a political cover-up.
Oh, don't be so daft, Frank. What are we supposed to do? Sit down and wait for Kaiser Bill to march down Whitehall?
I tell you, the Liberals needed this war. It was the only way they could get rid of unemployment.
Well, I don't believe it. Everyone knows that if we hadn't stopped the Bosch, they'd have taken over the whole of Europe.
You real German people, Vi. You real German people are human beings, just like the rest of us. I mean, we should have appealed directly to them, not your politicians. What say you, Oliver?
I say the only good German is a dead one.
Who's for some more trifle, Vi?
Oh, lovely. Honestly, Letty, you become such a good housewife. You'll have to give me some tips when I get married. If and when anyone decides to ask me.
What about you, Frank?
What?
More trifle, Mr. O'Malley?
Well, no, thank you, no.
Anyway, I don't even know what you're going on about, Frank O'Malley. Most people say war will be over in the next few weeks.
Not if those old warmongers in Whitehall have anything to do with it. Hey, did you really mean what you said just now, Oliver, about the Germans?
I meant every word.
Nah, I find that very interesting. I mean, how does a man like you justify the taking of a life?
I was proud to fight for my country. Most men are, you know.
I don't blame you, Oliver. No, I mean, I don't blame anybody for thinking me a coward. I mean, most people do. But at least I stick to my principles. I mean, I don't believe in this war, and that's all there is to it.
Nobody believes in war, Mr. O'Malley. We'd be poor creatures if we did.
Yeah, but if you don't believe in something, Mrs. Hobbs, then why don't you condemn it?
Because I cherish my freedom, Mr. O'Malley. If you take away that, what have you left?
Exactly my sentiments, Mrs. Hobbs. That's why I'm a socialist. We believe in the right of the individual to say what he wants any time. I'm telling you, it was big business that started this war, nothing else.
Bloody nonsense.
Oliver.
It's bloody nonsense. He sits there and he talks to me about principles when I've got principles too. I love my country. I was proud to fight for it.
All right, dear, all right. There's no need to shout.
I am not shouting!
I love that pot of geranium over there, Letty. It is a geranium.
Now, you tell me something, Mr. O'Malley. Would you still refuse to fight if you saw the Boche marching down your street depriving you of this so-called freedom you talk about?
Freedom? You call this freedom? I mean, is this what you fought for, Oliver? I mean, look at it. Is this what you call a soldier's reward from a grateful government? A one-room barn of a place with at the side of a railway track?
Kill him, Bagwell! Kill him! Kill him!
You got me all wrong. I'm a pacifist, not a traitor. You're choking me, Adam's apple. You're choking me.
Leave him alone, Oliver. Leave him alone.
I'm going to faint.
Get this bloody codgy out of my place. Get him out!
Come on, Frank. We don't want to stay where we're not wanted.
But I haven't finished me winkles yet.
Hell with your ratty winkles. We're going. And mark my words, Oliver Hobbs, as long as there's a breath in my body, I'll never set foot inside your place again. Never.
Honest to God, Vi. I mean, I don't know what all the fuss is about. Bye.
Letty? Letty, what are you laughing at? Letty, why aren't you angry? I thought you'd be angry with me.
Oh, angry? Oh, my dear Ollie, why should I be angry with you? You give me one of the best evenings I can ever remember. In fact, I don't think I've enjoyed myself so much in years.
Mrs. Hobbs? Mrs. Hobbs?
Mr. Cotton, what are you doing here?
I've been looking for you everywhere, Mrs. Hobbs. So I thought the best thing was to catch you as you came out of work. I take it you did receive the note I sent you?
Yes. Yes, I did, Mr. Cotton, and I will be paying the rent just as soon as I can. The trouble is that now that my evening job at the school is finished, well, I've had quite a lot of extra expenses to cope with just lately, but I will be settling with you, I promise.
Of course you will, Mrs. Hobbs, I know that. But landlords have a lot of overhead expenses, you know.
Oh, I do understand, Mr. Cotton, I really do.
However, I'm a reasonable man, Mrs. Hobbs, and it's only right that I should show my appreciation for all the hard work you've both done to transform that little room of ours.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Cotton. I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Good. Shall we say 7 days, then?
7 days?
Yeah, all back payment by Friday next week. Or I'm afraid you and your husband will have to vacate the premises, Mrs. Hobbs.
Yes, miss. Can I help you?
I'm looking for Mr. Edgington. Mr. William Edgington.
Do you have an appointment, miss? Mr. Edgington doesn't actually have anything to do with the shop himself. Maybe I could help. Did you have something to pawn?
My name's Letty Hobbs. I'm Mr. Edgington's daughter.
Letty, my dear child.
Hello, Father.
Oh, Letty, it's been such a long time since I last saw you. Such a long, long time. No, that's not quite true. As a matter of fact, I've watched you come out of the factory several times, but I've never had the nerve to go up and speak to you. Well, how's your husband? Has his wound healed yet?
Oliver's as well as can be expected, Father.
I'm sorry I couldn't go to your wedding, Letty. I thought it best not to. Not under the circumstances.
I quite understand.
Oh, Letty, I'm sorry. I want you to meet Amy. Amy's... well, she's a very good friend of mine. Amy, this is my daughter, Letty.
Hello, Letty.
How do you do, Mrs. Lyle?
I am pleased to meet you at last, dear. Your dad's told me so much about you and your brother Tom and young Nicky. Yes. Yes, I can see the family likeness all right. You've got the same colour eyes as your dad. William, you never told me how pretty she is.
Father, if it's convenient, I'd like to have a few words with you. In private.
Yes. Well, I've got quite a lot of work to do outside here in the shop, so why don't the two of you go and make yourselves comfortable in the back parlour? I'll bring you in a nice cup of tea later.
Letty, are you in trouble?
You said that if ever I was in trouble, I was to come and see you.
My dear child.
I need money, Father. Oliver hasn't been able to work since he came out of hospital, and now the landlord has given me 1 week to find the rent, or we have to give up the room. If that happens, I don't know what I'll do. It's just impossible to find accommodation at the moment.
Oh, if that's the case, I'll write you a cheque. Now, you take this to my bank, they'll cash it for you immediately.
No, Father.
No?
That's not what I came here for. I want your help, Father, but not your money. I need to raise just enough cash to see us through the next few weeks, that's all.
Well, then let me help you.
No, Father. I want to do this my way. I've brought something to pawn.
Letty, don't be absurd.
This is a pawn shop, isn't it? Well, I've got something to pawn. Here. And if you don't mind, the least you say to Mrs. Lyle about this, the better.
But this is the brooch your mother and I bought you for your 16th birthday.
Yes. So you know how much it's worth.
You can't part with that, Letty. I won't let you.
A roof over my head is far more important than something to pin to my dress. Besides, it'll only be a temporary measure. As soon as Oliver finds a job, he'll buy the brooch back for me again. Look, Father, if you won't help me, there are plenty of other pawn shops around, you know.
You're an extraordinary girl, Letty. Proud and independent, just like your mother. All the worst qualities imaginable for not getting on in this world. Give me the brooch.
My God, what's that?
I don't know. Sounds like the maroon warning signal.
An air raid? But it can't be. William, come quick, William. The streets are full of people.
Amy, what is it? What's happened?
It's the armistice, William. The armistice. The war's come to an end. It's over, William. The war's over.
What are you doing over there? Why don't you come to bed?
You go to sleep, dear. I'll be over in a minute.
What are you doing? Don't you know what time it is?
Penny farthings, penny halfpenny, 3 farthings stuff. I'm trying to work out if we've got enough money to have some sausages for dinner tomorrow.
Always working things out. Always putting pennies away for something or other.
It's the only way. If I put a little aside from my wage packet each week, it stops us from getting into debt.
Where'd you get the money from, Letty?
What do you mean?
Now, come on now, you know what I mean. A couple of weeks ago, we was over a month due on the rent. You must have got it from somewhere.
Mr. Cotton was very understanding about it. He's agreed to let me pay off what we owe a bit at a time.
I don't believe you, Letty. I don't believe a word you say.
Oh, thank you very much. That's a nice thing to say to your own wife.
Come on now. What did you put in hock?
Don't be silly, Ollie. Now, come on. Let's get back to bed.
No, wait a minute. I've got a present for you.
A what?
Yeah, I bought it for a tanner from Charlie Williams. He said he knows at least 3 people who've been lucky.
Lucky, Ollie? What are you talking about?
Yeah. See it for yourself. You'll go on, take it.
A sweepstake ticket?
Yeah, the draw takes place at the end of November. Well, look at the first prize, Letty. 100 quid. Just think what we could do with 100 quid.
You artful devil, you. Don't tell me I've married a gambler.
Oh, well, for Christ's sake, it's only a tanner. All right, so I know it's your money, but I'll pay you back. I swear to God, I'll pay you back every penny of it.
Oliver, what a terrible thing to say.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to tell me. I know we haven't got a dog's chance of winning no prize.
But we have, Ollie, of course we have. And if you want to spend 6pence on a sweepstake ticket, you've got every right to. How many times do I have to tell you what I earn is not my money, it's ours? Now stop talking so silly and come back to bed.
Oh, I don't want to go to bed. I can't sleep.
So you're just going to stare out of the window and sulk, is that it? Thank you for giving me such a lovely present, dear.
Now, don't make fun of me, Letty.
But I'm not making fun of you. How could I? I love you too much for that. Oh, it looks cold out tonight. Can you see the frost in the moonlight on the railway line? Oh, Ollie. Do you know what I'd like to do if we win that £100? I'd like you and me to go for a trip on one of those trains. Just imagine all the wonderful places they could take us to. Where would you like to go, Ollie?
I don't know. Never thought about it. I'd like to go to the seaside.
Seaside? Then that's what we'll do. We could go to Brighton. Mother and Father once took Tom, Nicky and me to Brighton. When we were very young, of course. You'd love Brighton, Ollie. The beach stretches for miles and miles, and there are 2 piers and lots of places to get a cup of tea.
Oh, dreams. Nothing but dreams.
Dreams cost nothing.
I'm going back to bed. Can I turn off this light? We're wasting the juice.
Might as well, I suppose. Oh, go on, then. Move over.
God, your feet are cold.
Then warm them for me. No, Ollie, don't tickle me.
Go to sleep, Letty.
I am. Good night, dear.
Good night.
Oh. They say they're going to open up the old railway station at any minute.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't it be wonderful if they did? After all, they've got to have somewhere to bring the hospital trains to. Since the war ended, there must be thousands of our boys waiting to get back from the front.
Go to sleep, Letty.
Oh, yes, sorry, dear, sorry. If they did decide to use that train station for the troops, then they'd have to open it up again for good, wouldn't they? I mean, it would prove then that the branch line is worth keeping up, wouldn't it? Oh, Ollie, I don't know what I'd do if it did all happen. Just imagine it. You get a job there as a porter or ticket collector or something, and you could come home for your meals every day, regular as clockwork.
Stop it, Letty! For heaven's sake, stop. I don't want to hear another word about the bloody trains, do you hear?
Oliver, what is it?
I'm sick to death of you mooning on about that bloody train station. That place is finished, Letty. It's not worth a light.
You mustn't lose hope, Ollie. They will open that station again. I know they will.
Stop it, Letty. Stop it, Letty. Stop it.
Oliver.
I can't take much more of this, Letty. I can't. Just...
Oh, Ollie. What have I done to you? What have I done?
If only I had your strength. How are we going to get out of this mess, Letty? How?
It's all right, Ollie. We'll think of something. We will think of something.
Listen.
What is it?
Well, listen. A train.
Yes, but it's going past, Ollie, just like all the rest of them. It's going past.
No. It's stopping, I tell you. It's slowing down.
You're right, Ollie. It is stopping. It's pulling into the platform.
I can see people's faces at the carriage windows. For the first time, I can actually see you. You were right, Letty. There are troops on board. And nurses. It's a hospital train.
It's stopped, Ollie. It's stopped. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you. It's happening for us. At last, it really is happening.
People of this country have had enough!
4 years ago, do you remember all those promises Lloyd George and his gang tried to fob us off with? Do a good day's work, they said, and within a few years, the standard of living in this country would be greater than anywhere else in Europe. Well, brothers, here we are in 1930, and after 4 years, what have we got? Don't you?
I must say, though, your Frank speaks very well. He ought to be a politician. Oh, no, thank you. It's bad enough as it is, dragging me and the kids up here to Speaker's Corner every Sunday morning. Do you know, last week someone threw a rotten egg at him.
What are you and me, the working people of this country, going to do about it?
Let's all go down the Strand.
I couldn't afford the price of bananas on a means test. Well, brothers, I'll tell you what we're going to do about it. We gave them our answer in 1926, and we'll give it to them again. If this government don't improve the pay and conditions of every working class man and woman in this country, I say we down tools.
That's it then, back to station. Come on, Letty, this is where you and me make a quick getaway. Follow
The only
me.
thing that is relevant in this country, the men and the women.
Shut up, you snotty-nosed little beast, or I'll feed you to the bleeding ducks.
No, Vi, you mustn't talk to her like that. Poor little thing's probably scared out of her life after all that shouting. Here, Sylvie. Come on, you come to your Auntie Letty. There you are, then. There's a pretty girl. I think she's hungry, you know.
Oh, she's always bleeding hungry. She'd eat me if she had a chance.
Honestly, Vi, I don't know why you bother to have a family if they get on your nerves so much.
Don't you worry, it wasn't my idea. You try marrying a Catholic. Having kids becomes an industry.
Well, I wouldn't be parted with my two, I can tell you. Ever since they were born, it's given Oliver a new lease of life. He simply dotes on them.
Really? Well, I'm glad he's turned out to be a better husband than he was a brother.
Oliver may not be perfect, but I'm telling you, he's a good man. Oh, I just wish he wasn't always in such pain.
Pain? I mean, he's still got trouble with that old leg wound.
He's awake night after night with it. Oh, he can move around all right, well, more or less, but it's the pain that keeps nagging away at him all the time. Oh, and you know, Vi, in the last week or so, the wound's become all sort of swollen, and it's turned a kind of bluish colour.
Hasn't he seen a doctor or something?
He's got an appointment to see a specialist at the hospital on Tuesday morning.
Letty, you're a real brick the way you support that man.
What are you talking about? Oliver's my husband, isn't he? I've never known such happiness since I met him. Since the kids were born, Ollie's been a changed man, happy-go-lucky, fun to be with. But you know, Vi, more than anything else, he loves his job at the train station. He's so proud of what he's doing, and that's important for a man like him. But if they take all that away from him, Vi, he'd feel somehow betrayed. I don't know what he'd do, Vi. I just don't know what he'd do.
Tickets, please. All tickets, please. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Hello, Mr. Pearson. Sorry to trouble you.
Mrs. Hobbs, what are you doing here? I thought you'd be at the hospital with your husband.
Oliver wouldn't let me go with them. He hasn't been home yet, so I thought he must have come straight back to work.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hobbs. I haven't seen Ollie all day. All tickets, please.
But it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. His appointment at the hospital was for 9 this morning.
Well, I don't know if it's worth mentioning or not, but, well, on my way to work a couple of hours ago, I thought I saw your husband. He was going into Finsbury Park.
The park?
Yeah.
But he should be at work by now.
You know what Ollie's like about the trains. I know for a fact he spends a lot of his spare time watching them from the railway bridge there. Yeah, like I said, I'm not absolutely certain it was him, but it might be worth a try.
Oliver, is that you? Oh, Ollie, dear, what are you doing out here on the bridge?
Go home, Letty. I want to be on my own for a bit.
But you'll be late for work. You should have been back on the late turn duty by now.
I'm not going back to work today.
Not going?
Look, Letty, I don't want to keep answering no questions, so just leave me alone. Go back home.
What happened, Ollie? What did the specialist say?
Nothing.
Don't be silly, must have said something. Did you ask him about the swelling? What about those tests they did last week? Surely there must be some reason why...
It's gangrene.
Gangrene? So what does that mean?
It means that my bloody leg is rotting away. It means my leg has got to come off. They want to amputate it just below the kneecap.
Oh, God. Ollie, my dear.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I won't let them do it, you hear? I won't.
Are you sure you got it right, Ollie? You know how you get things muddled at times.
For God's sake, woman. When someone tells you that they want to cut off a part of your body, you know what they're telling you.
Ollie, let's try and be calm about this for a minute, dear. Let's just try and work this out sensibly. How soon do they want to do it?
The next day or so. They say there's a danger of the poison getting into my blood. But I'm not going through with it. I'm not for no one.
Ollie, you must go through with it.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I thought you'd say. It's easy for you, isn't it? You've got 2 good feet to stand on. God, what am I going to do, Letty? What am I going to do?
Ollie, dear. Please don't. Please. For my sake.
It's the end of my life. I've got nothing to live for now, nothing.
Don't ever let me hear you talk like that. You've got a lot to live for. And don't you forget it. It's me and the kids. And shall I tell you something? I was talking to Mr. Cotton the other day. He says he might be able to rent us a little house in a couple of months or so. Oh, nothing expensive, mind, but at least the kids wouldn't have to sleep on the floor anymore. Think of it, Ollie. A house of our very own.
Pearson, the station master, told me that if I have to go into hospital many more times, he wasn't sure he could guarantee my job at the station anymore.
There'll be plenty of other jobs. In fact, I'll bet you could get your old job back on the underground if you wanted to. Why, anyone would be glad of the chance of employing someone like you.
Someone like me? A cripple with one leg? How am I going to get through this, Letty? How?
We're going to get through this together, Ollie. You and I. We've got to be strong. Because we have so much to look forward to, that's why. I want you to live. So let's get on with it, right away.
You're a stupid girl, Letty. Sister tells me you've been sitting out here ever since 9 o'clock this morning. Well, your being here like this can't help Oliver, you know.
Allow me to be the judge of that, if you don't mind, Mother. What are you doing here, anyway?
Oh, I just felt like a ride out on the bus, that's all. Would you mind if I sit with you for a bit?
Of course not.
Have you had any news yet?
No. Only that Oliver was in the operating theatre for nearly 2 hours. The doctors are with him now. I'm just praying that everything's going to be all right.
A lot of courage, Letty. I have to give that to you.
Oliver's the one with courage, not me.
Well, I'm glad he gets more attention than I do. Not even your brother Nick comes to see me these days. Not since he married that woman of his.
Please, Mother, no lectures. I don't feel up to it.
I hate hospital corridors. They smell of ether and stale tea and...
Then, for God's sake, why don't you go home? You know you can't bear Oliver. You never could.
Well, really, there's no need to raise your voice at me, Letty.
I'm sorry, Mother. It's just... I suppose I'm anxious, that's all. I was awake all last night, wondering what I'll do when I see Oliver for the first time after the operation. I just don't know what I'm going to say to him when I see... I mean, I can't just pretend that his leg's still there.
Letty, may I tell you something that happened to me a long time ago? When your father first left me to go off with that girl of his, it was over 3 years before I could even bring myself to walk past that pawn shop where they lived.
In fact, I'd cross the street and turn my eyes the other way rather than accept that such a place existed. But one day, I'll never know how or why, I found myself walking right up to the front door of the shop. There was a young woman inside, and a man with her. The man was William. I plucked up courage and went in. William couldn't believe his eyes. For a moment we just stared at each other, and then I smiled, and I found myself saying, "William, I just wanted to tell you that I wish you well." And he took my hand and kissed it, and then introduced me to Amy Lyle, and we all had tea together. It was a delightful afternoon. I never made any effort to see your father again, right up to the time when he died last year. But I'm glad I saw him that once. I think he was too.
Mrs. Hobbs, you can come in now, but only a few minutes, please. Your husband's still a bit groggy from the operation.
Thank you, sister. Oh, Letty, when you see Oliver, will you give him this, please? It's nothing much, really. It's a small bottle of whiskey to cheer him up, that's all. I remember he once told me he drinks the stuff. Tell him... just tell him I wish him well.
I must say, you're living it up in style here, all right, Ollie. The other beds are empty. You've got the whole room all to yourself. Hey, Ollie, I've got some news for you. You know that musical comedy actress you like? You know the one I mean? That pretty girl, what's her name? Jessie Matthews. Well, she's going to open that new picture house at Finsbury Park. When you're up and about again, we'll have to try a couple of pens of the dark there, won't we, Ollie, eh? You're going to be all right, Ollie. The doctors are very pleased with you.
Half a man, Letty. That's all that's left of me now, half a man.
Half a man's better than no man at all. Come on now. You know what they say? Every cloud...
There's a silver lining. Yes, so I've heard. How are the kids?
They're fine. Just fine. Violet's looking after little Eddie for me today, and Ronnie... Oh, you wait till you see Ronnie. He's painting you a new picture for when you get home. Oh, I almost forgot. They sent you some licorice, all sorts. They're your favourites.
When I was on that table up there, I dreamt about the kids. They were running all over the place, but I couldn't catch them. I don't want them to see me looking this way, Letty, not ever.
I never heard such nonsense. Didn't I tell you this is a change, that's all? As far as I'm concerned, you're still that handsome soldier boy I married 12 years ago.
I want you to leave me, Letty. I want you to take the kids away and forget all about me.
Ollie, what a terrible thing to say.
No, I mean it, Letty. I can't bear the thought of you all seeing me hobble around on one leg for the rest of my life.
You won't have to hobble around, Ollie. The sister was telling me they make the most wonderful artificial legs these days. In a few months from now, you'll be right back to normal again. You know, you can't keep crossing a road to avoid a shop you don't want to go into.
Eh?
Just something my mother said, that's all. Now, don't move, Ollie. I'm going to pull back the bedclothes.
No.
It's all right, dear. I just want to see what they've done to you.
No.
Ollie? Ollie? Will you do me a favour, please, dear? From now on, will you let me be your other leg? I promise you it'll be as firm as rock. Come on, that's enough of that. You've got to be strong, Ollie. We both have. Don't worry. You'll soon be back in our own home again. We'll be soon having some of our sing-songs together. Hey, Ollie, what's your favourite song?
I don't know.
Well, I bet I do. Remember that song you used to sing to me soon after we first met? How does it go now? You are my honey, honeysuckle, I am the bee. I'd like to sip the honey sweet from those red lips you see. I love you dearly, dearly, and I want you to love me. You are my honey, honeysuckle, I am the bee.
There we are, Mr. and Mrs. Hobbs. I'm happy to inform you that number 13 Roden Street is now at your disposal. Oh, you better take the front door key before I forget it.
Oh, well, thanks very much, Mr. Cotton.
Here we are.
Can't tell you how grateful we are to be moving into a house of our own for the first time. Yeah. Isn't that right, Letty? Letty?
Pardon? Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Cotton. We're very grateful indeed.
Right. I'll be off then.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Hobbs, I usually make my rent calls on a Thursday each week. I hope that's convenient to you and the wife.
Oh, yes, that'll be quite all right, yes.
I'll say cheerio then. Don't bother to see me out. Believe it or not, I do know the way. Mark my words, Mr. Hobbs. Number 13's going to be a lucky house for you. Yeah, well, don't worry about the door handle. Just needs a couple of screws, that's all.
Highway bloody robber. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be right, though. Now, what do you think, Letty? Will 13 really be our lucky number? Letty?
Oh!
Letty! Letty, what is it?
Look at it, Ollie. Out there. Our own scullery.
Oh, my God. Is that all?
But it's so wonderful, Ollie. I mean, look at that lovely big stove copper. We can boil up all the hot water we want. On a Friday night, we can put the bathtub out here.
Not unless we put up a curtain, we don't. I'm not going to be caught napping in my altogether.
Oh, Ollie, I never thought we could be so lucky. A house all to ourselves with rooms on 3 different floors. It's like a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm telling you now, we're going to have a lodger. I can't afford 15 bob a week out of my wages, you know, even though I've got a decent job on the underground.
Money's no problem. There's a school just a few doors away down the street. I'll get a part-time cleaning job there.
No, you don't. Those days are past, Letty. From now on, there's only going to be one breadwinner in this family, me.
You know something, Ollie? This house is going to be lucky for us.
Do you really think so, Letty?
Oh, yes. I can feel it in my bones. As though the walls are watching us. I can almost hear them saying, "Don't worry, Letty. Don't worry, Oliver. You'll see." Come on. Let's go and have a look at the attic. Hey, think you can manage the stairs on your new leg?
What do you mean, can I? I'll race you to the top.
And look, Ollie. Isn't that St. Paul's Cathedral over there? Do you see in the distance, just to the right of that white building?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just think of it, Ollie. Mr. and Mrs. Oliver J. Hobbs, in residence at number 13 Roden Street. And with a view of the City of London from their own attic window. Oh, look, Ollie. Down there. Can you see our own back garden?
Our junk heap, you mean?
Don't you worry. I'll soon get that into shape. I might buy a few packets of poppy seeds from Woolworths. I like poppies.
Blue eyes.
Pardon?
Bright blue.
You told me that once before. It was a long time ago.
Well, they look even more blue today. Sure sign you're feeling happy. Are you happy, Letty?
Come here, Ollie. Now, closer.
Why?
I want to kiss you, that's why. Do you mind? Ollie,
I'd like to have just one more child.
What?
No, I don't mean right away, you fool. It was just that I was thinking how nice it would be to feel that this house was going to become part of us.
Oh, we can't have any more kids, Letty.
I've never heard such nonsense. Number 13's going to be our lucky number, isn't it?
Oh, I hope so.
Then let's make sure that it is. Let's give this old house a chance to prove itself, to provide the kind of home you and I have always wanted for us and our kids. You know, Ollie, when we first moved into that room of ours, I used to dream of having a place like this one day. Oh, not because I wasn't grateful for what I got, but because I wanted us to start something of our very own. To make something we could be proud of. It's funny, isn't it? A lot of people think they know so much about love. But I often wonder, it's not just a question of two people living together or sharing the same interests in life. It's the feeling that you're never really apart, no matter where you are or what you're doing. I'll always be a part of you, Ollie, and you'll always be a part of me. Do you know why? Because we're a team, Ollie. You and I. We live out our lives for each other, and that's important. I love you, Ollie. I'll never stop loving you. You won't ever forget that, will you? Look, Ollie. There's so much out there waiting for us to share together. I promise you, nothing will ever stand still for us again. We're going to be like one of those trains leaving the station, moving on, on, on. We're on our way, Ollie. Our journey's just beginning. You and me together. It really is beginning.
The Trains Don't Stop Here Anymore, a love story based on real people and actual events, was written by Victor Pemberton. In it, Nerys Hughes played the part of Letty and Nigel Anthony that of Ollie. Wendy Richard was Violet and Sheila Grant Beatrice. William was played by Malcolm Hayes, Tom Derek Seaton, Frank Bill Monks, Nicky Adam Godley, Bill Kenneth Shanley, Amy Lyle Eve Karpf, Mr. Cotton Eric Allen, and Pearson Robert Trotter. The pianist was Mary Nash. The play was directed by John Tiedemann.